Hi, how you doing, Josh and the PT Toolbox crew? My name is Andrew Crawford, and I've been in the fitness industry for over 28 years. Yes, you heard that right. 28 years. Um, it's Nivea. That's how it's Nivea. That's how my skin is nice and smooth. Nivea. um, I'm a qualified accountant. I'm a tax advisor, and also I'm a personal trainer and a group instructor. So I've been down your route. So I know what you're going through. I've been there myself. I've had clients. I've worked full time. I've worked part time. I work at the weekends. Any spare time I was working. Now, being a full-time accountant at that time, I had a self-employed business on the side, and I had a limited company on the side. Some of you would have, would do the same. Yeah. In all of this, I still had to maintain my books, even though I was doing PAYE through the full-time work. I also had to maintain books for the company and the self-employment side. So some of you again will be the same as that, or you'll be full-time self-employed, maybe a part of a partnership or a director of a couple of companies. I don't know. I'm just assuming. I'm just going to give you all-encompassing way of keeping your books. So today, I think we'll just primarily concentrate on bookkeeping, or in other words, record keeping. Now, as you get income in for your business, there has to be a system in place to actually record all your incomes and all your expenditure. The reason being that at the year end, the inner revenue are going to want to know, the flipping nosy people, want to know what income you have derived from your business activities. Now, these activities could range far and wide. There could be boot camps, there could be retreats, there could be a selling of ebooks, selling of supplements, PT one-on-one group. They want to know exactly what you have of got for your income and your expenditure. And in order to do that, you have to keep some kind of record, or we call it in the financial world, bookkeeping. Now, it could be a simple system, and or it could be a complex, depending on whether you're a sole trader, a company, or a big corporate with plenty of profit centers and plenty of space, somewhere here, somewhere in the UK. So depending on that. But the basic is, what have you spent and what have you got in. Now, the way that I do things, and I'll tell the PTs to do things, is to make sure you keep your diaries all the time, and anything that you've spent, um, any record, any receipts, any of your bank statements, your credit card statements, anything that shows how your money was derived, how it was spent. Keep it on a thing called a spreadsheet, and or bookkeeping or record keeping stuff, which you can get from W.H. Smith's. That's a good one, yeah, where you could just write it down. And some of you guys are lazy. I was the same. Leave it till 3, 4, 5, 6 months and then do it. Or some people do it, at the end of the year, scribbling down ferociously to get all this stuff down. Now, at that time, you would have forgotten what you'd done 3, 4, 5 months ago. Yeah. Yes, you will do, because I do. What was this receipt for? What was this £9.99 or 27 quid from Trattoria? Well, that was the Italian restaurant that you ate at. Yeah. Can you claim that? Maybe, maybe not, depending on what you were doing at the time. But again, this is supposed to be recorded down. All your income, all your income streams, all your expenditure streams, record down. Now, the way I do it on a spreadsheet, which you can find at my website, and Josh will no doubt give you the web thing, but you will see this sign. Yeah, this is the Fitness Industry Accountant sign, and it is www.fitnessindustryaccountant. Please don't try and write it down, because Josh will give you a link to it at the end. You can go to the resources section and go to downloadable spreadsheets, where you will find a plethora of tools and downloadable spreadsheets for you to use at will. One of them, the most important one there is, I believe, is the bookkeeping one, where I've developed just a simple bookkeeping spreadsheet for you to use, and it just goes in months, from April through to April, and down the side you'll have all your expenditure items, which as PTs, I know exactly, what you can claim and the actual segments which you claim on. Yeah, like here we go, like petrol, parking, rent, supplements, any bank charges, accountancy fees. And I say that again: accountancy fees, bookkeeping fees, solicitor fees, professional fees. So, your anyone that could see you. Oh, forget, and the web person's fees as well. Forget, yeah. All of these stuff. These are just segments in which you will spend your money. Traveling, all this kind of stuff. Now, the Inland Revenue for accountants, we just want to know the global figure each month, each quarter, we just need the global figure. However, the Inland Revenue want to know the detail. And when I talk about the detail, I'm talking about, how is that £1,500 made up? Yeah. Is it 3 lots of 500 or is it 50 lots of however, whatever? The makeup of that 1.5 grand. How many clients, when, where was it, on a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday? So some of you will have diaries. Yeah? This is a good record keeping system where you have a diary and you can keep track of who spent what on your PT session. You might have paying you £5 on a boot camp session. You might have sold 4 or 5 capsules of some supplements, and you just log it down. And at the end of the week, you just make a total. That total you can just chuck straight on the spreadsheet. Or if you're going to do it on a monthly basis, keep a total on each week, and then each month just put it into the spreadsheet. That means you're up to date with your bookkeeping. Now, the Inland Revenue, they actually want you to do it on a daily basis, but this is not. You can't do it on a daily basis. Well, you can, but it's not feasible. But they would like like to think you do it on a daily basis, so you're actually up to date. Now, one of the words I want you to use whenever you're speaking with the Inland Revenue is this word called the wholly and exclusively rule. And what that rule is that any expenditure that you put in your tax return has to be wholly and exclusively made for the purpose of your trade. So you cannot put stuff which you buy and you use it personally. That can't actually form part of your tax return. However, what can do is something that you have bought wholly and exclusively for the purpose of your trade. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and put it on your tax return or put it on your bookkeeping spreadsheet, then transfer it to your tax return. And on the tax return itself, again, you can either do a 3-liner, which they've made it easy now. They said, it's nice and easy for you. You could do a 3-liner. Now, the 3-liner consists of your profit, your income, your expenditure, and your profit and loss. Although they say it's nice and easy and simple, they can ask you to now go down deep and break down your income figure, please, and you can break down your expenditure figure. So therefore, you have to go back to your books or your spreadsheet. So yes, you can do it that way, but you must ensure that you've got a bookkeeping system or a record keeping system in order to substantiate what you have put through in your books. Yeah. Please ensure that you keep a receipt for an expenditure item. Now, you can estimate it if you have got that item or goods. You can estimate it, but please don't overestimate. Yeah. And another one here. Listen to this. If anything is used personally, i.e., your mobile phone, do not claim 100% for it. Yeah. Do not claim 100%. Why? Because this gives the Inland Revenue an opportunity to disallow all of the expenditure, because they realise that you don't recognise the idea of a personal and business, and where travel concerned, or where mobile phone, any stuff you could use personally, you have to know there's a personal element to it and a business element. So therefore, claim 90%. That's great, 80 or 90% of that item, and then you can put 100% of it in your books. But when you put it onto your tax return, you can only do, say, 80 or 90%. That shows in the revenue that you recognize that there's a personal element to some of this expenditure. So instead of them discounting it, they will have to leave it on because you've already taken the personal element out of it. Where a car is concerned, please do the same on your, on your bookkeeping records. Yes, you would have spent 50 quid on your petrol, which you could put on your bookkeeping spreadsheet. But when you go to claim it on your tax return, you just claim your 40 quid, yeah, something like that. So do not try and put 100% if it is not 100%, because they will just disallow it. Now, so as you can see, the bookkeeping spreadsheet or the record keeping spreadsheet acts as a tool to show in the revenue that you actually know what you're doing. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, there's a tendency for them to go dig deep into your records to show that, yep, okay, they may or may not be defrauding the Crown from her proper income. Yeah. So make sure that you've got everything nice and tight. Yeah. Receipt for that 50 quid, and on your tax return you got 40 pounds, and you can say, well, I recognize that 10% of my driving, I went down to Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Tesco's to do some shopping. That wasn't on for business purposes, that was for personal purposes. So you can identify it like that. There's been an instance where in the revenue they like to just put a point and say, right, what's the expenditure for? And you've got to know exactly at that point of time what it's for. So please make sure you identify what your expenditure is for, especially for some of these receipts which have not clearly identified, or the ink rubs off. Yeah, that's why I said write it down quickly and forget it. Put it on your spreadsheet, boom, forget it. Yeah, once you do it on a regularly, monthly, weekly, at the end of the year, 11 months of it is actually done. Yeah. So again, this is a tool which you could use at any time. The inner revenue can come, to ask you any questions. You've got an answer for it. In saying about the inner revenue, I remember about the mystery shoppers. Remember the mystery shop? Yeah, mystery shopping. Now, the inner revenue will use any tactics they deem necessary in order to establish whether or not you are telling the truth on your tax return, and whether or not you are exposing all of your income sources, and it's 100% accurate. So what do? Well, sorry if I'm talking too much, guys. Yeah, right. So I could talk forever, babe. Some of your guys there. Now, they do this thing called mystery shopping, so whereby they will come into your class, they will pay you on a weekly or whatever basis they come, and pay you cash. Yeah, 5-6 weeks perhaps. They'll come in and just be one of the clients in the class. A few months they'll just leave, and then they'll come back maybe 1-2 months later with an official pass and say, hi, we're from the inner revenue, our name is this, now we visited your class this time. Can we have a look at those records, please? So you should be in a position to be able to open up your book and show them what the actual entries that were made that day. And as you know, they'll be looking for their entry. Yeah. Yeah. So this is why it's vitally important to keep a record of everyone that comes into your class. Be careful of cash. Everyone that comes to class, an amount of they paid, and then the total for the day, for the week, for the month. Yeah. Now, I know you want me to stop. I'm just giving you overall thing on why you should be. It's important to keep this bookkeeping spreadsheet or your record keeping. Your diaries sometimes will contain the names of people that you've trained. Keep it, even if it's for 4 or 5 years. In fact, 4, 5, 6 years. Keep that diary, yeah, because that is going to be the source document that makes up your tax return down the line, and they could refer to it, and it's a document that you could refer to time and time again. If you've made a purchase and it's done by cash, make sure you get a written description of it, the date and the actual amount, and put that written document, whether it's a sheet, a fag paper, back of a cardboard box, make sure you've actually kept that and put that in your records, because that's a prime document and the Inland Revenue will accept it. How do I know that? Because I asked them and they told me that, there was I said it. What if it's in the back of a fag packet? They said yes. Once it's a prime document where you've signed it with a pen or whatever, it's an acceptable item. So don't think you have to keep stuff written in a book or on a computer. Make sure everything's written down, and you could substantiate it by just flicking it out at any time. Yeah, yeah, good times.